Of course, it's very interactable. It's very stunnable, willable. I guess not that vengeanceable, but like frostbiteable.
Is it the mustache? Who knows?
All right, let's get to this reveal. Let's see. Seven mana, 3/6 overwhelm. That's way understated, but let's see. When I'm discarded, grant your strongest ally overwhelm and place me into your deck. That's an interesting one. That's a really interesting one. Burst speed overwhelm mid-combat. +1/+0 for each card you've discarded this game. Max +7/+0. So 10/6 unleveled. Discarded or summoned 35 plus power. How long is that going to take with an aggressive deck? Turn 6 or 7, I suppose. You can maybe turn 8. You can probably play him flipped pretty often. I let this run on for a second. I'll only zoom in or a pause when they show cards, when they zoom in on cards. Ancient Warmonger when I'm discarded. Grant your strongest ally +2/+0. Looks strong. 5 mana, 5/5 overwhelm. Of course, this is pale in comparison to Ruin Runner. Solid body though. Already decently statted. Discard synergy. It looks fine, but not OP basically. Looks decent. Man, the epic music. Donk. Donk. Play, discard a card, kill the weakest enemy. And not being able to target this is huge. I don't think this is gonna run any type of pings or removal. I don't think this is crazy good right now. Like, it's situationally insane. Of course, it's very good to pick off Eye of the Dragon and so on. But like, you'll hit chump blocker so often, or your opponent just puts a Vile Feast on the stack before this and then it kills the spider. It depends like how many other discard payoffs we have. That of course makes the card better. An S-Draven? Yeah. Could be good in S-Draven. You have a bit more control over what you want to kill. That's actually a good point. It could be pretty good in S-Draven. This goes through Spell Shield? It should. It's not targeted. God of War type of animation. Wait, you regain the attack token? I need to read all of this when the video is over. Okay. Chill out. Let's look at these one by one. Jesus. Okay, champ spell is Roar of the Slayer. Probably good because you'll always want to play Sion as a finisher, which means he'll cost a lot of mana. He'll soak up most of the mana on the turn. And then being able to fit in a cheap spell as well that removes a blocker, potentially gives you discard synergy, looks good. 7 mana, 10/6 overwhelm, last breath, summons Sion return. So no HP buff. This just goes to max out here. 10. And I'm summoned Rally. Oh my goodness, there has to be some degenerate combo that abuses this, like some Mist Skull type of deck. This payoff is enormous. This is one of the best finishers that I've seen in a long time. Of course, it's very interactable, it's very stunnable, willable. I guess not that vengeanceable, but like frostbiteable. I wonder if this is gonna have the same trouble that Darius has, or not, because it at least beats, I don't know, random Tri-Beam, Scorched Earth, Vengeance, and Runations, and so on. But like, if a deck has no answer to this, this is gonna be super strong, like almost oppressive. Harrowing Sion? Yeah, that type of stuff. That's pretty much it. Very strong if opponent doesn't have an answer. Still okay if they don't have an answer, because you need to like deal with this every turn. Every attack, rather. If you run more rallies, you need like a freeze or a stun per turn. Looks solid. I'd say solid for sure. Wouldn't call it OP or anything, but this also gets wrecked by Minimorph, never forget. Reborn Grenadier, 1 mana 3/2 Ephemeral to play discard a card. When I'm discarded, summon an exact copy of me at frickin' potentially burst speed. This card looks good. This card with like Rummage or Poro Cannon should be really strong. Okay, let's continue. That's why Rummage was nerfed? Yeah, that's part of the reason for sure. Noble Rebel, 3 mana 3/2. Overwhelm. Grant me +2/+1 once you've discarded 3+ cards this game. It's okay, I don't think it's gonna be great. Because by the time this really pays off, when it's a 3 mana 5/3, the board is already gonna be fairly big. Like, I don't think you get that effect before turn 4 or 5. Then again, you can play... It's a Grant effect in hindsight. Like, you can play it, it's gonna stick on board, and then still gonna get the buff later. The more I think about it, the more I think this is gonna maybe be playable or decent. Of course, 3 mana 5/3 is just cracked. Question is, how consistently can you get it when you play it? Like, this is a card you'd like to play on curve and be able to attack with it without trading down. Anyway, continuing. Fallen Rider, 2 mana 3/1 Fearsome. When I'm discarded, create a Risen Rider in hand. 2 mana 4/2 Fearsome. Again, really strong, and the optionality it gives is crazy. This card's really, really good. Like, discard fodder that can also be played if you don't have anything to discard or if you need to curve out. This is really good. Twinblade Revenant. 4 mana 4/3 Challenger. Last press, create a Lost Soul in hand. This is Lost Soul. When I'm summoned or discarded, create a Twinblade Revenant. So infinite value generation. Oh my goodness. Like, Sion by itself is of course very interactable, but this whole package looks strong. Oh, the Revenant is a token. Okay. I thought you could play this and then get... Oh my goodness, that would have been insane. Thanks for for letting me know. So you usually, if you main deck this, you want to discard it early, play this. It's decently statted for a, well, 4/3 Challenger that creates a card. I could see this being played as a 1 or 2 of. Can't run out of steam, really, if you have 1 or 2 copies of these. Twin Blades in the video, it's main deckable. No, it doesn't have the tag here. It doesn't have a rarity. It's not main deckable. Pretty good for Sion. Level up? Yeah, true. Yeah, this is not OP by any means. This gives the Sion deck something it would otherwise lack, that a lot of aggressive decks lack, and that is access to value. And like value without losing a lot of tempo, because a 4 mana 4/3 Challenger is of course a bit of a tempo loss, but not a lot. Which makes this whole archetype a very well-rounded mid-rangey thing that can play at either speed. Yeah, Sion package looks good. It's very good. I dislike that it's very polarized because the level up payoff on Sion is so enormous. But it's either you have an answer or you don't. But it's good. Okay, last card here, Sword and Stitches Focus Speed, 2 mana. Play discarded cards. I'm going to Reborn Grenadier. Give it +2/+0 this round. Reborn Grenadier was that dude, right? The 1 mana. Two mana Focus. Discard. 5/2. So this is basically a bit like the Waking Sands, the card that Treasure Seeker generates, but at focus speed, which makes it a lot better. But you have to discard 1. I don't think the card looks super strong. Can't use it defensively, only offensively. At burst speed. Well, you can if your opponent doesn't open attack. think it's okay, but not crazy strong. It really depends on what type of archetype, what type of colors you play Sion in. If you play PNZ, you'll have better access to discard targets. Sorry, discard mechanics rather, than having to play this. But if you play it with SI, that doesn't really have any discard cards, then this is going to be pretty good. And yeah, it is very good for the open attack, that is true. I might be underestimating this. But you'll want to play this more as a finisher than a mid-game tool. That's why I'm a bit hesitant to call this good. Like, you usually only want to play this on the turn that you're trying to get lethal. So if you draw this in the early game, it's most of the time going to be a brick. Okay, which ones did we miss? Fallen Reckoner. Man, that's a lot of cards. 5 mana, 4/3 Overwhelm. When I'm summoned, Grant can't block to the weakest enemy. Summon, not play it. 5 mana on a 4/3 body with Overwhelm, kill a unit. So a comparable unit would be Iron Ballista. So you pay 2 mana for the can't block to the weakest enemy, plus Risen Reckoner. Let's see how good Risen Reckoner is. What do? Create in hand. Summoned, Grant can't block to the... Holy shit, this card is good. This card is so... Oh my goodness. So you have an Iron Ballista, and for 2 mana cost, you destroy a chump blocker, which is probably worth... Or maybe something better than a chump blocker. It's probably worth around 1 mana, maybe 1.5. Sorry. And you generate a card, you draw a card that is about 1 or 2 mana, like, undercosted. Because again... You kill it, like this is worth 1 or 2 mana, who knows? And then you have a stat line that should be on a 4 mana unit. Of course ephemeral, but damn. This card looks insane. And these 2 are missing, right? Grave Physician. Discard a card to draw a unit. Targeted unit draw is better for Sion, generally better for a mid-range deck in most cases. Yeah, looks like a very good filler. This card is probably gonna be staple, not necessarily a 3-off, it might be a 3-off though. Helps out curves, it's useful at any point in the game. Solid card, yeah. This one's not like crazy nuts, but it's solid. It's probably gonna see play. Helps out so many curves and so on, and enables so many combos. Weapons of the Lost, 8 mana, slow, deal 3 to a unit and summon. Triferin. Shield Breaker. Isn't that... So due to power creep, this card is really only worth 4.5 mana right now. And you're paying an additional 3 or so to deal 3 to a unit at slow speed. I don't think this card's good. Like, even if you value this as a full 5 cost unit, you're paying 3 to deal 3 damage. I don't really see it. Okay, cool set of cards. Interesting mechanics. Definitely gonna see play. Definitely gonna be playable and shape the meta in some form. Because, like I said, if there are no answers to deal with Sion as a big threat, this is just gonna be super strong. So this is gonna require a lot of decks in the meta to run cards like Flash Freeze, Mini Morph, Will of Ionia, Stuns. This generally coincides with what I've been saying for a while. Basically since Lysandra and the Watcher came out, I always felt like Riot is trying to get the average game length in Legends of Runeterra down to make the game more explosive so that mobile players have an easier time to just play games casually. There we go. Thank you, Guillermo. Let's check this. You're the 8 mana, 4/7 mirror image Bandle City. When you play a created follower, summon an exact copy. When you play a created spell, cast it again on the same targets. Looks like a meme. Comes down too late and then it requires more time, more turns, more mana until it pays off. A lot of spells are not necessary or good if they get double casted. It has to be created in the first place. Summon exact copy. This is gonna take like a couple turns to pay off. Alright. Yeah, I think, especially with what I just said about the average speed, like the average game length going down, finishing on earlier turns, I don't really see this card be good enough. Like 8-cost cards are supposed to be finishers and end the game fairly quickly, and this takes like 3 turns until it gets anywhere close to doing so. 8 mana Karma, but it just says created stuff. You can't double cast main deckable stuff. Unless you can create, unless there's like a deck that creates very good, very cost efficient stuff super consistently and happens to be a great control deck, I don't think this card's that good. I just think it's too slow. Like potentially, of course, in a casual game or in freaking Iron or Silver, this is gonna be good because the games take that long and at some point this is just infinite value. But and then by itself, this card, I don't like. It doesn't look competitive to me. Curious Shell for Folk, 6 mana 4/6 bundle. When you pick a card from randomly selected options, create a copy in hand and reduce its cost by 1. Okay, so I see where this, of course, this card is gonna get more and more support the way this is trending. So even though this might not be good right now, maybe there's gonna be a good bundle control deck if more and more cards like this get printed. But this has the same problem. It's coming down very late in the game, understated, even though 6 HP stat line is solid, like it can take a couple of blocks, but you don't really want this to die ever. And then the earliest it really pays off is like turn 7-8. This one pays off quicker than the other one, I feel like. More in time, but I just think it's too slow. It's a bit too pricey for the stat line. Like, unless there's gonna be a great Bandle City control deck or shell, I think this is not that good. Predict works? Yeah, Predict works. Invokes work. Manifest works. But yeah, I think the meta is just gonna be about tempo for the most part.